if your legs feel weaker than they used to, if standing up from a chair takes more effort, or if a short walk leaves you tired, please don't ignore it. After 60, leg weakness doesn't just come with age. It's a warning sign, a silent sign that your body is losing strength faster than it should. But here's the good news. Most of the damage can be reversed simply by avoiding a few common mistakes. In this video, we'll gently walk through the 7 biggest leg weakening habits many seniors don't even realize they're making, and how you can fix them today. If you care about staying strong, independent, and active well into your 70s and beyond, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment if any of these signs feel familiar, and give this video a like to help more seniors protect their health. Your strength starts with small steps.
Number 1. Sitting too much without breaks. Sitting for long hours without taking breaks is one of the most overlooked threats to leg strength after 60. When the body stays inactive for too long, especially in a seated position, the muscles in the legs gradually weaken. This weakening happens not only because the muscles aren't being used, but also because circulation slows down. Blood flow is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients to muscle tissues. Without movement, circulation in the lower body decreases significantly, and that lack of flow can cause stiffness, tightness, and eventual muscle wasting. Doctors often warn that prolonged sitting leads to what's sometimes called disuse atrophy, where muscle fibers shrink simply from lack of activity. This is especially dangerous for seniors because the legs play a central role in maintaining independence. Tasks as basic as walking to the bathroom, standing up from a chair, or stepping out of a car all rely on strong leg muscles. When these muscles are underused, they become less responsive. Over time, this can turn once simple movements into serious challenges. Research shows that even adults who exercise regularly can still suffer the consequences of sitting too much during the rest of the day. A 2012 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that sitting for extended periods was associated with greater muscle loss and reduced mobility in older adults, even if they met basic activity guidelines. It's not just about having a daily walk or doing a bit of exercise in the morning, it's about breaking up sitting time throughout the entire day. When seniors sit for hours, such as watching television or using the computer, muscles like the quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes remain inactive. These are the same muscles needed for walking, standing, and climbing stairs. Without frequent use, they don't just lose strength, they also lose flexibility. Tight hips, stiff knees, and reduced ankle movement can all result from long sitting sessions, making every step feel more uncomfortable than the last. Some doctors recommend a simple rule. For every 30 minutes of sitting, try to move for at least 2 to 3 minutes. That movement could be as gentle as standing up and stretching, taking a short walk across the room, or even just shifting weight while standing. These small interruptions in sitting time help stimulate circulation and activate leg muscles, preventing the decline that otherwise sneaks in over months and years. Another consequence of extended sitting is joint stiffness. When knees and hips remain bent for hours, the surrounding connective tissues can tighten, and the joints can lose some of their natural lubrication. Over time, this leads to discomfort and reduced range of motion, making it even less likely that someone will want to move around. Unfortunately, this creates a dangerous cycle. The less you move, the harder it becomes to move, and the harder it becomes, the less you want to try. Falls are one of the most serious risks facing older adults, and weak legs are a major contributor. According to the CDC, 1 out of 4 Americans aged 65 and older falls each year, and leg weakness is a known factor in many of these cases. Prolonged sitting weakens the muscles that help stabilize the body during movement, especially during transitions like rising from a chair or stepping off a curb. When those muscles aren't strong enough, balance is compromised and falls become more likely. There's also the issue of poor posture during sitting. Slouching or leaning puts strain on the lower back and hips, which further impacts how the legs function. Poor alignment leads to uneven pressure on the joints, especially the knees, which can contribute to chronic pain or joint damage over time. This discomfort may discourage movement even more, deepening the problem. In summary, avoiding long sitting periods isn't just about staying active. It's about preserving leg strength, preventing pain, and protecting the ability to move freely and independently. Small movements throughout the day, like standing during phone calls or walking during commercials, can make a meaningful difference. Doctors agree that consistent movement, no matter how minor it seems, is essential to keeping legs strong after 60. Movement keeps the blood flowing, joints lubricated, and muscles active, all of which are critical for living well in the years ahead.
Number 2. Skipping strength exercises. Skipping strength exercises after the age of 60 leads directly to weaker legs, reduced balance, and greater difficulty with everyday movements. As people get older, a natural process called sarcopenia begins to set in. This is the gradual loss of muscle mass that starts around age 30 and accelerates with each passing decade. By the time someone reaches their 60s, they may already have lost a significant portion of their muscle strength, especially in the lower body. Without intentional strength training, that muscle loss only continues, silently affecting mobility and independence. The thighs, calves, and glutes are some of the most important muscles in the body for standing, walking, and stabilizing during movement. These muscles aren't maintained just by walking or doing chores around the house. They need specific, repeated resistance to stay strong. Doctors and physical therapists often emphasize that strength exercises, even very gentle ones, are critical to maintaining leg function. These movements stimulate the muscle fibers in a way that daily activity does not, helping the muscles remain firm, active, and responsive. Skipping strength training allows those muscles to shrink and weaken. As they weaken, basic actions become more tiring. Getting out of bed or rising from a chair can start to feel like lifting weights. Climbing stairs may require more effort than expected. Over time, this can create a sense of frustration or helplessness, leading to even more inactivity, which further worsens the problem. It becomes a cycle of decline that's hard to reverse unless it's addressed early and consistently. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that older adults who performed leg-strengthening exercises just 2 to 3 times per week experienced better walking speed, stronger balance, and reduced risk of falls. These results were seen with simple body weight movements, light dumbbells, or resistance bands. The exercises didn't have to be intense or complicated. They just had to be regular. Strong leg muscles also support better joint health. When muscles are weak, the joints, especially the knees and hips, have to absorb more of the body's weight and movement. This extra strain can lead to joint pain or cartilage damage over time. Strength training helps relieve some of that pressure by shifting the work from the joints to the muscles, allowing for smoother and more comfortable motion. There's also a strong connection between leg strength and balance. The glutes and calf muscles in particular help control stability during walking, turning, and standing still. Without strength in those areas, it's easier to lose footing or feel wobbly on uneven surfaces. Many falls among seniors can be traced back to poor muscle control during a sudden movement, like reaching for something, turning too quickly, or stepping off a curb. Strengthening the legs builds the confidence and ability to move without fear. Even simple routines can make a difference. Doctors recommend exercises such as seated leg raises, wall sits, mini squats, or standing heel raises. These movements activate the core leg muscles without requiring any special equipment. Over time, with consistency, they help rebuild strength and improve how the legs respond to daily tasks. The key is to avoid long gaps without movement. Muscles begin to weaken in as little as 2 weeks of inactivity, especially in older adults. It's never too late to start. Studies show that seniors in their 70s and 80s can still gain muscle strength through basic resistance exercises. The results may come slower than in younger people, but the benefits are just as valuable: increased mobility, better balance, and a stronger sense of independence. Skipping strength training means skipping the opportunity to stay active, confident, and safe. Keeping the legs strong after 60 is not just about fitness, it's about living without limits.
Number 3. Not getting enough protein. Not getting enough protein is a common mistake that quietly weakens the legs after 60. Muscles need protein every day to repair, maintain, and grow. When the body doesn't receive enough of it, the muscle tissue, especially in the legs, begins to break down. Over time, this leads to weakness, fatigue, and a noticeable decline in mobility. Seniors may start to feel that their legs tire faster, or that activities like walking, climbing stairs, or standing for long periods take more effort than they used to. Many adults over 60 don't realize they're not getting the protein they need. Age-related changes in appetite, difficulty chewing certain foods, or simply not feeling hungry in the morning can all contribute to low protein intake. Some may also avoid meat, eggs, or dairy due to health concerns, digestive discomfort, or dietary restrictions without finding other reliable sources of protein to replace them. Unfortunately, this leads to a gradual decline in muscle mass that most people don't notice until it starts interfering with their daily life. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that older adults need more protein than younger adults to maintain the same level of muscle. That's because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at using the protein we eat to build and preserve muscle tissue. To make up for that, many nutrition experts suggest seniors consume at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, which is more than the average adult recommendation. Without meeting that need, the muscles don't have the building blocks they require to stay strong. This lack of protein affects the legs more than other parts of the body, because the legs are responsible for supporting weight, movement, and balance. The quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes all depend on regular protein intake to stay firm and responsive. Without it, these large muscles begin to shrink. When that happens, tasks like rising from a chair, walking to the mailbox, or even carrying groceries become tiring. Some people describe the feeling as having no power in their legs or needing more time to rest after doing simple things. Low protein intake can also delay recovery after minor injuries, surgeries, or illnesses, all of which are more common in older age. Muscles that are not properly nourished take longer to heal and are more prone to further damage. This adds to the cycle of inactivity and weakness that many seniors experience. Doctors and dietitians often recommend spreading protein intake evenly throughout the day rather than eating it mostly at dinner. Including some protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner can support better muscle function and improve how the body absorbs and uses the nutrients. There are many easy-to-digest protein options for seniors, including eggs, fish, beans, yogurt, tofu, and lean poultry. Some may also benefit from protein shakes or nutritional supplements, especially if eating larger meals is difficult. What matters most is consistency, giving the body the nourishment it needs to maintain strength and energy. Skipping protein might not seem serious in the moment, but over time, it's one of the most important factors that determines whether the legs stay strong or slowly give out. Supporting leg health after 60 begins with the right fuel, and protein is at the heart of that. Number 4. Wearing the wrong shoes. Wearing the wrong shoes may not seem like a major issue at first, but for people over 60, it plays a serious role in weakening the legs over time. Shoes that are old, unsupportive, or poorly fitted can change how the body stands and moves. When the foundation is unstable, the legs have to work harder just to maintain balance. This extra strain wears down the muscles and joints in the lower body, slowly draining strength without most people realizing it. One of the biggest issues with improper footwear is the loss of arch support. As the feet age, the natural padding wears down, and the arches may begin to collapse. Without support in the right places, weight distribution becomes uneven. That shift affects posture and walking patterns, leading to added pressure on the knees, hips, and ankles. Over time, this misalignment causes discomfort and joint pain, making it harder to move confidently or comfortably. Some doctors point out that many seniors continue wearing shoes that no longer fit properly. Feet can change in shape and size with age due to muscle loss, swelling, or medical conditions like arthritis or diabetes. Shoes that once felt fine may now cause tightness, slipping, or friction. These issues don't just lead to blisters or soreness, they force the legs to overcompensate, constantly adjusting for poor fit and instability. That overcompensation leads to fatigue in muscles that were never meant to carry that burden. Balance is another serious concern. A stable shoe with a firm heel, a non-slip sole, and a snug fit around the ankle can greatly improve a person's ability to stay steady. On the other hand, loose, worn-out, or slick-soled shoes increase the risk of tripping or falling. According to fall prevention specialists, a large number of balance-related incidents in older adults are linked to improper footwear. Falls don't just cause injuries, they can take away a senior's confidence in their ability to walk and move freely. That fear often leads to less movement, and less movement leads to muscle loss. Some experts recommend checking footwear every 6 months for signs of wear, especially if leg fatigue, pain, or balance problems are becoming more noticeable. Shoes should feel firm but comfortable, with enough cushioning to protect the feet and enough structure to guide proper movement. Lightweight athletic shoes or orthopedic walking shoes with good arch and heel support are often ideal. Slippers, sandals without back straps, or shoes with worn-out soles should be avoided for regular walking or outdoor use. Ignoring footwear may seem small, but it has real consequences for leg strength. Every step taken in the wrong shoes places stress where it doesn't belong. That stress builds over weeks, months, and years, and by the time it shows up as weakness or pain, much of the damage is already done. Choosing the right shoes is one of the easiest, most immediate steps a person can take to support their legs and protect their mobility for years to come. Number 5. Avoiding stretching and mobility work. Avoiding stretching and mobility work weakens the legs in ways that often go unnoticed until pain or stiffness begins to interfere with daily life. As the body ages, muscles naturally lose elasticity, and joints become less fluid. Without regular stretching, these changes happen faster, causing tightness that limits movement. Tight muscles not only feel uncomfortable, they restrict how far and how smoothly your legs can move, reducing both flexibility and functional strength over time. Doctors and physical therapists often emphasize that stretching is just as important as strength training, especially for older adults. Muscles like the hamstrings, quadriceps, calves, and hip flexors are used constantly for standing, walking, and balancing. When these muscles become tight, they pull on joints and alter posture, which affects how someone walks, stands, or even gets out of a chair. Over time, this altered movement leads to uneven wear on the joints and muscles, causing discomfort and a greater risk of injury. When leg muscles are stiff, they become more prone to small tears and strains. Something as simple as stepping off a curb, reaching forward, or getting up quickly can result in a pulled muscle, not because the action was wrong, but because the muscles weren't ready to stretch in that direction. Gentle stretching helps prepare the legs for these everyday movements. It keeps the muscle fibers supple and improves blood flow, which allows the legs to respond better when sudden movement or balance is needed. Mobility work goes hand in hand with stretching. It focuses on improving how joints move through their full range, especially the hips, knees, and ankles.
These joints are critical for leg stability and coordination. If they become stiff, it limits the leg's ability to support the body, increases the effort needed to walk, and can create a feeling of unsteadiness. Some seniors begin to shuffle their feet or take shorter steps to compensate, which only further weakens leg muscles over time. A study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that seniors who incorporated regular stretching and mobility exercises experienced significant improvements in walking speed, balance, and lower limb strength. These exercises didn't require complex equipment or intense routines. Simple daily practices like ankle circles, seated hamstring stretches, or standing calf stretches were enough to create meaningful changes. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day of targeted stretching can make a noticeable difference. Consistency is far more important than intensity. Overstretching or bouncing into movements can actually do harm, especially to aging muscles. Gentle, controlled movements held for 15 to 30 seconds are the safest and most effective. Over time, regular stretching restores natural movement, reduces pain, and supports better posture, which all help the legs function more effectively and with less strain. Neglecting flexibility doesn't just make the body feel stiff, it quietly reduces strength by forcing the legs to work harder against their own tension. That added effort wears them down. Including gentle stretching and mobility work in daily life protects the legs from this hidden wear and tear, helping them stay strong, balanced, and pain-free well into later years.
Number 6. Ignoring vitamin D and calcium. Ignoring vitamin D and calcium is a serious mistake that weakens the legs from the inside out. While many people focus on muscles when thinking about leg strength, bones and joints play an equally critical role. Without strong bones, the muscles have nothing stable to work with. Without healthy joints, even the strongest muscles can't move the legs effectively. Vitamin D and calcium work together to keep these support systems strong, and when they're missing, the entire structure of the leg becomes more fragile. Calcium is the primary mineral that makes up the bones. It gives them their strength and density. As people age, especially after 60, the body becomes less efficient at absorbing calcium from food. If daily intake isn't enough, the body starts pulling calcium from the bones to maintain other essential functions. Over time, this causes bones to become thinner and more brittle, a condition known as osteoporosis. The legs, which carry the body's weight and absorb impact with every step, are especially vulnerable to fractures when bone density drops. Vitamin D is just as essential because it helps the body absorb and use calcium properly. Without enough vitamin D, even a diet high in calcium won't be fully effective. This vitamin also supports muscle function and helps regulate inflammation in the joints. When vitamin D levels are low, people may experience muscle aches, joint pain, or general weakness in the lower body. Some studies have even linked vitamin D deficiency to a higher risk of falls and mobility issues in older adults. Doctors often warn that a lack of these nutrients can make it dangerous to stay active. Seniors may avoid walking or exercising because of leg discomfort, not realizing that the root of the issue is nutritional. If the bones are weak and the joints are inflamed, movement becomes painful or risky. That fear leads to less activity, and the less the legs are used, the weaker they become. This cycle continues unless the underlying deficiencies are corrected. According to the National Institutes of Health, adults over 50 should aim for about 1,200 milligrams of calcium and 800 to 1,000 IUs, international units, of vitamin D daily. These numbers can vary based on individual health, but they provide a clear starting point. Many seniors don't reach these levels through food alone, especially if they avoid dairy or spend limited time in the sun, two of the main natural sources of these nutrients. Calcium can be found in foods like milk, yogurt, cheese, leafy greens, and fortified cereals. Vitamin D comes from fatty fish,
fortified dairy products, egg yolks, and safe sun exposure. In many cases, doctors recommend supplements to ensure adequate intake, particularly for those at risk of osteoporosis or living in areas with limited sunlight. Maintaining proper levels of vitamin D and calcium is about more than preventing broken bones. It's about preserving the foundation of leg strength. Without strong bones and mobile joints, muscle strength alone won't be enough to stay active and independent. Ignoring these nutrients allows silent damage to build over the years, weakening the legs in ways that exercise and stretching alone can't fix. Protecting bone health is a vital part of protecting the ability to walk, stand, and live freely after 60. Number 7. Not treating poor circulation. Not treating poor circulation can quietly erode leg strength, making everyday movement harder and more painful over time. Good circulation delivers oxygen and nutrients to the muscles, bones, and nerves in the legs. When blood flow is restricted, the muscles don't get what they need to stay healthy. As a result, the legs may start to feel cold, heavy, weak, or numb, and these symptoms can become worse if the root issue is ignored. Poor circulation is often caused by narrowed blood vessels, especially in the legs. This condition, known as peripheral artery disease, becomes more common with age and can develop without obvious warning signs. Over time, reduced blood flow causes the leg muscles to become starved of oxygen, especially during activity. Some people feel fine when sitting, but once they start walking, they may experience cramps, burning, or tightness in the calves or thighs. These symptoms usually fade with rest, but return quickly with movement, a classic sign that circulation is compromised. Left untreated, poor circulation not only causes pain, but can also lead to real muscle loss. Muscles that don't receive enough oxygen can't perform properly, and they gradually shrink and weaken. In severe cases, tissues may begin to break down, leading to sores that heal slowly or not at all. This puts people at greater risk for infections and long-term damage. Seniors with circulation issues often find themselves avoiding physical activity, not because they're unwilling, but because their legs simply can't keep up. Doctors often advise watching for early signs like cold feet, numbness, or leg pain that appears during walking and disappears with rest. Swelling around the ankles, shiny or discolored skin, or slow-growing toenails can also be warning signs. These are not just cosmetic concerns. They signal that the blood is not moving properly through the lower limbs and the legs are slowly suffering from it. Improving circulation can take many forms, but the key is not to ignore the problem. Depending on the cause, treatment might involve lifestyle changes, medication, or therapy to improve blood vessel health. Some people benefit from compression stockings, which gently squeeze the legs to support blood flow. In more serious cases, doctors may recommend supervised exercise therapy, where walking is used in a controlled way to train the blood vessels and improve endurance. Even small changes, when guided by a medical provider, can help restore oxygen flow to the legs and ease the symptoms of poor circulation. When the legs don't get the blood they need, they can no longer do their job. Ignoring the signs means accepting a steady loss of strength, energy, and mobility. But by treating circulation problems early, it's possible to prevent lasting damage, relieve discomfort, and regain the ability to move freely. Leg strength depends on healthy muscles, and muscles depend on healthy blood flow. Addressing poor circulation is not just about comfort, it's about giving your legs what they need to stay strong and keep you moving.